Hey folks, what up? Welcome to Steelers Now Postgame. I'm Alan Saunders, live at Acrisure Stadium. Flying solo tonight. My guy Smitty abandoned me. I can't get DB in here. You know, you're stuck with me. I'm sorry. You have to deal with just old Alan Saunders for today. We hope it won't be too impactful since you're all probably feeling pretty good about, 31 unanswered points as the Pittsburgh Steelers came back to absolutely wallop the New York Jets 37-15. This was an interesting game because I think there were a lot of Steelers fans after the change in quarterback and everything that was said about this offense. The first quarter, things were getting a little bit unsettled. There was a couple boos heard here at Acrisure Stadium. Those of you who participated may or may not want to out yourselves, or maybe you can just provide some plausible deniability. It was one of the other 69,000. Maybe it was Trump if you don't like him, or maybe it was, I don't know, the woman who ran onto the field. How about that? First time I've seen that since James Harris tackled a guy. Lots of fun football to talk about, though, in this one. I really think you saw not like, I don't want to make too much of this, but it was a step forward of the Steelers offense, especially to me in moving the balls between the 20s. If you think about this game, the Steelers score 37 points and they left 2 touchdowns on the field when they did not convert in the red zone in pretty easy circumstances. They get the first and goal at about the 2.5 or the 3. They get another one down there and they have to kick 2 really short balls. Well, 3 field goals all under, I think the longest one was maybe 40 yards. It was a game where this easily, if the Steelers offense was just a little bit more efficient, could have been a complete and total rout. Russell Wilson said as soon as he got that first touchdown to George Pickens after that first Beanie Bishop interception, we got to talk about Beanie too, that was when he really knew things were going to go, that this offense was going to get going. And Russ, former minor league baseball player, equated it to, hey, sometimes you just got to get that first hit to fall, and then things can get going. Beanie Bishop, to me, changed the entire complexion of this game. I talked a lot this week about how I thought Beanie Bishop was a matchup that Aaron Rodgers was going to be able to exploit. I thought at his height, he's a mismatch for all 3 of the Jets' top wide receivers and all 4 of the Jets' top wide receivers. If you want to throw Mike Williams into that mix, and you know what he did? He went out and picked off Aaron Rodgers 2 times, almost returned 1 for an interception. 14 points for the Steelers offense off Beanie Bishop picks. Beanie Bishop, the rookie, undrafted free agent, theoretically should be the worst starting regular on the Steelers defense. Intercepts the Hall of Famer twice. I talked to Dean Lowry after the game. Dino had a big play too, blocked a field goal. He, of course, came from Green Bay, spent a year in Minnesota before coming to Pittsburgh. He said he's played a long time with Aaron Rodgers, and he hasn't seen a rookie do that to them very often. I thought that was impressive. Heck of a compliment from 94. He played a very good game as well. The Steelers limited Breece Hall on the ground. He did gash them for 100 yards through the air. I want to get to your questions, and I will. I see the comments are piling up, and that's awesome. A couple of pieces of news here first. Steelers with 2 in-game injuries. Dante Jackson with a shoulder. That's that same AC that's been bothering him. We'll see. I would say probably not a long-term issue, but something maybe to monitor for this coming Monday. And then Montravius Adams with that knee, not a serious update from Mike Tomlin, but I think he injured that first in practice, was first listed as questionable, then was given the okay to go and give it a shot, but clearly that didn't work out. And so you have to wonder where do things go here for Monty Adams, because that's not where you want to be getting injured like that and missing. Thomas Steelers don't have a lot of depth on the defensive line left either, with DeMarvin Leal already out for the season, so that's something to monitor. All right, let's get to some comments here. And boy, we got a whole bunch of them, but let's start off on easy. But when did the Steelers ever start fast? Yeah, I mean, if you have to pick a thing to be good at, you would rather finish strong than start strong, right? It's way more important if you do well in the fourth quarter than in the first quarter. Steelers certainly have done that. But this is about the 3rd time we've seen this defense give up like kind of an easy-looking drive in the first quarter. Happened in Atlanta, happened last week again. And then after that, it just shut things down. Now, they ended up giving up two touchdowns to the Jets here, and that's probably their season average in scoring against will go up after giving up 15 points. That's about how dominant they've been. They were second in the league in points per game coming in. I assume they still will be with that slightly minor adjustment. I think this is a really good defense, and you can absolutely see the momentum, the tide start to turn in the game when the Steelers give this defense a late lead. Yeah, they're leaking some possessions away here that you think, like, based on their talent level. I mean, there are a bunch that we've seen some miscommunications in the past. I thought those got cleaned up for today. There were just some missed tackles on those early Jets drives that seemed like that was the problem. That hasn't been. They've been one of the best tackle percentage teams in the league coming into this one. You're not going to be perfect as a defense, but man, when they get this defense into a lead, into situations where they make the other team one-dimensional, boy, are they something to watch. They really harassed Aaron Rodgers all game. They didn't get to him a lot. Larry Ogunjobi had the only sack, but there were play after play where it was Alex Highsmith at his feet or Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton with their hands up, including that last fourth down stop. Keanu Benton with a huge one there. They knew that Aaron Rodgers was going to get rid of the ball fast. That was going to try to slow down their pass rush. Cam Hayward got his hands up. So, look, the way you finish is way more important to me than the way you start. It just means y'all got to just, like, chill for a quarter. You should have seen my Twitter mentions at 15-6. Boy, oh boy, how about that leverage call? I didn't think the Stripes were particularly friendly to the Steelers in this one. They got a bunch of good breaks against the Raiders, including 2 questionable roughing the passer penalties. I didn't like that leverage call. I thought there was an obvious missed hold on Alex Highsmith. I'm okay with them calling the throwdown after the whistle from Larry Ogunjobi, but it felt like there was at least one the other side where they could even it up. Yeah, they didn't get any breaks in this one. They certainly earned their big victory. D-Mob, you got some things to say? Say them. Come on, this is not the place for holding back here. It is 12:56 in the morning. It is, the kids are in bed. We can unload here. We can say what it is. Beanie out here just trying to prove Alan wrong. The funny thing is, I've been talking about Beanie Bishop being a good player since when I covered West Virginia last season. It's not like I don't like Beanie Bishop. I just thought this was going to be a tough matchup for him, and he did prove me wrong in that regard for sure. This puts them third in the conference pending the Ravens game. Yeah, they're second in scoring differential. They will be in first place pending the Ravens game in the AFC North, and third seed in the AFC again pending that Ravens game because the Ravens have beat the Bengals. If the Ravens can tie the Steelers, they'll pass the Steelers again. Get there. OL66, Mason McCormick is quickly becoming my favorite O-lineman. I thought McCormick was great. He had Kinlaw all kinds of wrapped up. I thought, man, you want to talk about an unsung hero of this game. Ryan McCollum. Quinnen Williams is a game wrecker of a beast. How many times did you hear his name called? How many times did you? I mean, it was like he was not even there. I don't know how you can talk about this game. And shout out to Najee Harris at his post-game press conference. He went right to that offensive line and how they have lost guy after guy after guy. The standard doesn't drop. They keep playing well. They're not playing outstanding football. They're not like a dominant offensive line. But, the bleeding doesn't ever seem to kill them. 1 tackle for Quinnen Williams. How about that? With 2 guys in the center of Steelers offensive line that were not starters before the year. One's a rookie 4th-round pick. One's a former undrafted guy that hasn't played in 4 years. That's a pretty impressive game from the Max. I don't know. We got to call him something. McCollum and McCormick. McCormick probably forced James. Look, the Steelers already were not planning on extending James Daniels' contract. But, I mean, yeah, Mason McCormick looks great. He's a butt kicker in the run game. I think his pass pro still needs some work. But when you're talking about playing a rookie 4th-rounder, man, there's not a whole lot more you can ask for at this point. I don't see near as many apologies for Russ Tomlin from certain people as there needs to be. Yeah, man, I think this is a look. Russell Wilson and Mike Tomlin have been around this game long enough to know that they're not going to take a victory lap from one Week 7 victory over what looks like is probably not a very good New York Jets team. You got to do more than beat the Bads to really prove yourself right. But I think that was a very, very impressive step in the proper direction for the Steelers passing offense. They got George Pickens going, but they got Calvin Austin going. He had the big catch, should have had another one on the 3rd down. Thought I might see more Pat Freiermuth, but they got Darnell Washington going instead, and they were still able to run the ball. They were still balanced. Now, there were certainly times when you saw Russell Wilson out there and said, man, they could have really used, Justin Fields' legs attached to number 3's body there instead. I really think that series where they get down, Jaylen Warren has a big run, gets him down to about the 3-yard line. I really think they should have brought Justin Fields in there for that series, 1st and goal to 3. I don't know what Mike Tomlin's plan is. He said he was open to using both of them. That'll be something to ask him again probably on Tuesday. But I think this was a really good step in the right direction for the offense, for the passing offense, and they were still able to run the ball. They did leak away a couple of those points in the red zone. We'll see if that continues. I thought they were pretty good on 3rd down when they got to 3rd and manageable. 3rd and long is not good for anybody. Such a weird game with the refs blowing calls. Yeah, I mean, the refs are the refs. This is what I'm talking about. We just took the lead. The Jets rolled over and knew their season was over. I don't think the Jets rolled over, man. I really don't. I think the Steelers' defense just took things to another level. Steelers' offense was imposing their will physically. I don't think this is a Jets team that's quitting in this game. I think that was some dominance from your Pittsburgh Steelers. GP bobble catch was one of the best catches I've seen in a while. I got Najee Harris to admit that even he's never seen George do that. That was just bonkers. But you just, Calvin Austin was saying George was on the sideline beating him up about the one on the post where he's in the middle of the field where they didn't catch. He's just a guy that expects to catch the ball every time it comes and gets within his arm radius. And boy, that's a new one for me. I don't know that I've ever seen off the back of the DB's helmet, tip it up to yourself and go. 14 is a special cat, man. If he can ever get a little bit more consistent, I still think there is unlocked layers to George Pickens. Like, the scary thing about George Pickens is I think he can be a lot better than he's been, and he was pretty darn good tonight. Got it like 4 times. It's nice to see 30. Look, I thought Jaylen Warren was a big part of this game. His blitz pickups were really good. I think that's the thing that stands out to me. They give him really tough assignments in blitz pickups, man. Put him on the right side, have him cross back over to the left, take him on those A-gap blitzers unblocked. When the center points out the mic, you see the center, he said, that's the mic, that's the mic. Usually that means he's going to block the mic. Takes a pretty rare linebacker for the scheme to be, that's the mic. You got him. I thought 30 was really good in this game, the best he's looked since coming back from the injury. Need to ramp up the efforts to get a good number 2 while the momentum is hot. My colleague Jenna Harner from Channel 11 said the Steelers fans were yelling to Mike Williams from the stands after the victory, trying to recruit him to Pittsburgh. I think, thank you to the Gateway Clipper as usual here. I think Mike Williams is going to happen. I don't know that that's all that's going to happen. I don't think that should be, a place that Omar Khan should put his feet up on his desk and say, job done. But I think he's an upgrade. I don't think it'll cost that much. It won't make that much money. Seems to be a no-brainer. I think this is going to happen. We'll see. We'll see if and when it does. Shout out to Waitman again. Limited work pin them inside 10. This is a Danny Smith freaking masterclass, this game all the way around. I was very happy to see him get some screen time on Sunday Night Football. What a guy. He brings the energy from OTA 1 all the way to the postseason. Last year, you remember, he got messed up, broke a bunch of bones, and that dust up on the sideline late in the game. I think it was the Packers game. And still brought it every day. I talked to Dean Lowry after that field goal block, and he said the energy is what makes Steelers special teams good. Like, everyone is capable of playing special teams. Everyone has great athletes. The thing is that you got to get the buy-in. You got to get the dedication from guys to want to do it, to want to be great. And I think the Steelers leaders set a tone. Cam Hayward's on that field goal block team, man. He don't have to be out there. He's 35 years old. I talked to Joe Green briefly today. And Joe Green retired at 35 years old. Cam Hayward, wrecking shop still. On the field goal block team, he's out there. Terrell Edmonds, former first-round pick covering punts and doing a darn good job of it too. Scared a guy into a muff today, nearly caused a turnover. The Minka leverage play, I got to get a closer look on it. I didn't think it was a good call from what I saw, but it certainly was at the very least, I'll say, an unfortunate call for the Steelers, one that probably could have gone their way. They really need the body to get healthy. Yeah, the 2 injuries today added to a whole boatload, but I do think most of the guys, like Nick Herbig should be back after the bye. Zach Frazier should be back after the bye. We'll see about Cordero Patterson. I don't know if he's as close as those guys are. KZ, I think, should be back next week. Roman Wilson could be back next week, depending on how he practices this week. So I think they got a chance to get healthy here pretty quickly. Hypothetically, this defense should get better after the bye. Cam Sutton coming back also. He comes out of his suspension. I don't know. 31 planting his flag on that job today? I mean, I think I got to at least see it. I'm not ready to just – man, I wrote a story after the Cowboys game, talked to Terrell Austin, and the headline of the story was like, Steelers are sticking with Beanie Bishop after struggles, and go read the comments under that tweet because they look pretty stupid right now. Like, Beanie Bishop's a ball player, man. I don't know that they're going to just want to minimalize him. Cam Sutton's a good player. I'm not saying they're not going to use him. I'm just saying don't throw away 31 just yet. If they can continue to play this way, are they contenders? This was a contender-y performance. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of game that wins you playoff games, I think. I don't think I would call them, anything approaching a favorite. But, like, this is the kind of game where you could just see, okay, this is a 37-15 win over the New York Jets. It was a little chilly here tonight. It wasn't quite playoff atmosphere. It was a playoff atmosphere in the stadium. Shout out to Steelers Nation. Really brought it today. Thought it was a really cool atmosphere with the Super Bowl IX guys there as well. But this is the kind of, all right, swap out Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets for, some other playoff team and their quarterback. And, like, I think this is still a kind of performance that gets you some wins. Maybe not every time. Maybe you give the ball to Mahomes late and he beats you. Maybe Josh Allen beats you. But, like, I don't know. I feel like that is the kind of game that wins you playoff games. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not going to crown them yet, but I think if they keep playing like that, yes, I'll agree with that. How are we going to afford? Listen, y'all can't be happy. Like, they just scored 31 unanswered points to beat the New York Jets contention, essentially. Beanie Bishop had 2 picks to Aaron Rodgers. George looks like George again. Najee goes for 100 yards, a second straight game. Russ is cooking like he's Giada De Laurentiis. And you're worried about what's going to happen. Just stop. Just be happy for, like, one night. Well, like, that's just be happy for, like, 12 hours about this or something. Steelers wide receivers, tight ends about to get activated. Yeah, I thought they spread the ball around pretty nicely. Yeah, I never thought that the Russ immobility thing, I thought that was overblown. I thought he moved okay. Honestly, feel like he needed to use his legs a little bit more. I don't know if he's hesitant coming back from that calf injury still or what, but there were some opportunities for him to take off that I think he didn't take. And, those happen sometimes. But I think when he goes back and looks at that tape, now maybe the calf is still bothering him, but I can't imagine that. Mike Tomlin said he was 100% healthy. So I think Booth had a very nice catch as well. Yeah, that's a good call. Mike Williams will go home with the Jets at the very least, but he may be back here quickly. Like I said, I think as much flack for – yeah, man, I don't think Pat Meyer's like the best offensive line coach in the league, but I think – he's good enough. I don't think the struggles of Broderick Jones should be blamed on anyone other than Broderick Jones. And he did not have a great game today. But, he's a young guy. He hasn't played very much. They're going to have to ride the ups and downs with him, just like they rode the ups and downs with Beanie Bishop. The athlete there is top tier. And so you stick with him because you think he can figure it out. Najee ran up the score. Well, remember, he almost did it against the Falcons. He was trying to get in. Or was the Falcons? No, that was the Chargers game. He was trying to get in. He got tackled at the 1. So he got his He got his run up to score a touchdown today. Let's see what else we got here. CJ says, anyone who thinks JF ran this offense any close is out of their minds. I mean, I think they probably still win this game. I think it just looks differently. I think, you take away a little bit of explosiveness in the passing game and you add a little bit more the ability to convert on some third downs with their legs, probably score in the red zone. I don't know. I don't think that Russ was 30 points better than Justin Fields would have been on this kind of night, especially when Beanie sets him up for two quick ones. But I think this was a sign of why Mike Tomlin made the decision that he made, and obviously the whole offensive staff was involved in that as well. This was a very simple looking play. Xavier Newman left the game, and it was reported by Melissa Stark of NBC that he wasn't moving his arms and legs, suffered a neck injury. This is, to me, not a finable play or a dirty play by Patrick Queen. He's facing the player and wasn't a blindside hit or anything like that. It was just a really awkward landing, and you hate to see that. The Jets were really, really banged up in this game. They came in with a couple injuries, and they had a bunch. Elijah Vera-Tucker left, and they had 2 or 3 of their defensive backs left. It really, that's an unfortunate play. You don't like to see it, but no, I don't expect that the Queen will be fined. I suppose it's possible, but I kind of doubt it. Adams the first NFL player to lose things. No, he is definitely not. But maybe in back-to-back weeks. I may have to do some research about that. Let's see what else we got here. Trice, yeah, he's back after the bye as well. There you go. I missed him. Dude, Deshawn Elliott, man, Garrett, good shout out here. I can't really, I'm running out of words to use about Deshawn Elliott. I knew he was a player. I don't know if the black and gold just agree with him. He was not this good before. I swear he was not this good before. I watched him a lot in Baltimore. He was not this good then. He is just taking it to another level. I think he is just you know what it is? It is that he is an absolute perfect fit for what the Steelers want their strong safeties to do. He is, a big physical guy. He runs fast. He covers well. He has great instincts. Man, there was some film study here, because how many times did you see the Jets go to a running play and Deshawn Elliott was flying downfield, already into the backfield when Aaron Rodgers handed the ball off? He's smart, fits the defense. The additions to this defense, Jackson, Queen, Elliott, those are just great pros. I think it really makes the whole defense so much smarter having those guys in the lineup. What else we got here? $31 guy. No, Beanie has the underneath. That's not even Beanie's guy anymore there. Beanie is playing the under zone. That's a hole shot where they're trying to fit in the gap between the zones. But Beanie is leaving that guy to the deeper safety on that second interception when he leaps up and puts his hand up. And he said he didn't touch the ball, and then it clangs off him. The high irony is that I was here covering West Virginia lose to Pitt in the backyard brawl a couple of years ago, and it was very similar place on the field to the ball going off Bryce Ford Wheaton's hands and MJ Devonshire picking it off. And I want to see the two plays synced up, because in my memory, they look pretty darn similar. Crazy there's a West Virginia guy involved here and there. Man, the Steelers 74 team was here. Lemoyne Castle, this is a great shout. We talked to John Stallworth before the game about, hey, that team did not feel early on like it was headed for a championship. They had Joe Gilliman. They went to Bradshaw. They benched Bradshaw, went to Terry Hanratty, then went back to Bradshaw. They were deep into that 74 team before they really felt like they were a championship team. And, of course, they had a lot of rookies. That 74 class is the best rookie draft class ever put together. Guys like John Stallworth, guys like Lambert, Webster, Donnie Shell, Swan. But I think – I'm not saying this is a Super Bowl team, but I think that's a pretty solid lesson for understanding where you are in a season. I thought Najee Harris made a good point that he said, there's been games where we've been this good on offense, but it has always been in his time here later in the season that this is the first time this early he's feeling the way he's feeling about this offense. I agree. Very cool to see the 74 Steelers here. Talked to Cam Hayward, and he said, man, you put on these jerseys, you see that patch, you don't want it to be just a commemorative. You want it to mean something. I think you can tell it means something to him. Steelers 5-0 wearing these throwback threads. I think that's not for nothing. Man, was Peyton Wilson flying. He was another guy I thought Aaron Rodgers might be able to pick on. Had a couple of wonky pursuit angles. I honestly felt like he was probably flying around a little bit too much. He probably needed to one fewer pre-workout today for 41, but he was on one, that's for sure. That's for sure at all. Let's see what else we got here. Was the magic tonight? Vincent Holt wants to know. Russ or the block number throwback unis with the gray face mask? I don't know why you all love the gray face mask that much. It's fine. That doesn't do anything particular for me, but whatever. I thought they look good. I think Russ was a big part of this. But look, there's no question. I mean, we'll look at Mike Tomlin's record on primetime games. Look at Mike Tomlin's record in big time games against big time opponents. And look, the Jets aren't very good, but this was a big time game. It was a game the Steelers absolutely needed to win. They needed to do more than win. They needed to win it in convincing fashion. They did. The fact that they continue to do that in these settings should not surprise anyone. This is who they are. Now, they are also a team that plays down to some stinkers occasionally too. But you should have faith in them when these lights come on, 69,000 start going nuts. They got their throwbacks on. They got their gray face mask, whatever that does for them. They get an old number 3 out there. Yeah, I mean, you know that's coming. The adjustments to the line, yeah, I think that's a good. That's something I really probably need to see. Probably need to see the tape a little bit more to really see how, because I don't have the best angle, from the press box. I would want to see what Russ was seeing to really break that down. But I didn't see this. I need to check this out. I did see Patrick Queen was John with Aaron Rodgers. I saw some Cam Hayward John with Aaron Rodgers. I saw Joey Porter, a little point at one point. JPJ had a nice tackle. I thought all the Steelers DBs in run support tackled pretty well. The places they got off their marks a little bit were in the short passing game. We'll see how that goes. Hey, we got a super chat we got to get to here from O'Shea Barton. All Justin had to do was underthrow deep balls. Hey, man, it's about taking your shots. And I think Russ did more than underthrow deep balls. I thought Russ did a nice job of directing the offense, finding open guys, sustaining drives. Yeah, there was some – and just taking shots. Yeah, honestly. I mean, my biggest criticism of Justin Fields was he's got to throw the ball more. There was just too much of holding it and thinking and waiting. Get a playmaker like George Pickens, go let him catch it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Got time for a couple more here. How about that Russ intro to start the game? Look cool. Yeah, they turned the lights off. I don't remember them doing that before. That was pretty sweet. I thought that was interesting. Crowd was hot, man. Fired up from the very first to the very last. This is a good Van getting in the end zone. Yeah, it was a good no call on the legs getting tied up. That's not supposed to be a penalty, but yeah, I thought Van was probably his best game. I thought he looked good, and I thought Russ found him. Russ found Calvin. He dropped the one. He should have caught it. That would have been a first down and kept moving. Came back to him later, got him for a big play. I thought you saw the ball being spread around thoughtfully in a pretty significant fashion. The apologies for Naj coming in. Man, people who dogging Najee Harris are doing it wrong. Najee Harris is a hard ass runner. He's tough. He wants to win. You know, I can't say enough good things about Najee Harris, the person, and Najee Harris, the player, while at the same time acknowledging that I understand why the Steelers are taking the tack they're taking on a business standpoint at the running back position. I don't think that should take any. Don't get those two things confused, man. Najee Harris is that dude. And look, this could be a decision that comes back to bite the Steelers. I think Jalen Warren's a really good player. When he's fully healthy, maybe a better player. But I think I don't think that should take away anything from Najee Harris. Early thoughts on the Giants. They stink, and they don't even know who their starting quarterback is, but it doesn't matter because they both stink. Yeah, that was not a highlight for Patrick Queen. The 50, he was about a 57-yarder. Breece Hall, three guys colliding in there. He was in the middle of them. But I thought Queen was okay overall. I didn't think that – I thought that the underneath passing would be where Rodgers would try to attack, and they did do that to some extent, but I thought the Steelers did a nice job of not letting him run the ball so that wasn't enough. You can't just live on 3 to 5 yard passes and breaking tackles. And they did that. They did that. Pre-snap penalties. Yeah, I thought the Steelers have continually improved with the penalties over the last couple of weeks. It's not been like one dramatic leap, but man, the 15-yarder blows up their numbers, and I don't care for that call. And I think the leverage call goes down as only one, but I mean, that's does Rodgers throw the kicker? Who gets fired for the Jets this time? I don't know. I think they got their butts whipped. I don't think you can blame that on anybody. I do think that the Jets have underperformed their talent level, and that's the kind of thing that should get a coach fired. But I don't think you're going to see the Jets with some kind of miraculous turnaround here. All right, one more. What do we got here? Nice to see that. Yeah, I thought Allen Lazard was going to be a matchup problem for him. I think he had one catch. Did a very nice job on those. Oh, no, I had more. 448. Wow, I was way off. But I didn't think he was the kind of problem that I thought he would be. I think Garrett Wilson was the biggest threat. But did a nice job with Devontae Adams. Good game for Joey Porter Jr. They just played sides. They didn't follow. So, for sure. What happens when the coach is the QB keep on losing? Look, Aaron Rodgers is going into the Hall of Fame, but time comes for everyone, and I think you're getting there with 40 years old. I'm 40, and I hurt myself walking to the bathroom in the morning. I know how he must feel right now. All right, folks, that's it. That's all we got time for tonight. Don't worry, there will be an episode of Steelers Morning Rush in like 5 hours or whatever, as soon as I get home and wake up. Also, got some video from the locker room processing right now. As soon as I get back, that'll be up here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. Go over to SteelersNow.com. DB's got his dudes and duds sitting in the hopper waiting for me to hit publish when I get done. Go check that out. Oh, while you're over there, hit that subscribe button. Use promo code Allen10. Get yourself a subscription so you get the best stuff from me and DB and no ads, which is like the best way to do things. And yeah. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate you all coming in here, staying up late with me here after the Steelers 37-15 winners. I love this one. Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next time.